Stranger Things is ending, and apparently they're going out Return of the King style, where they formed four different scenes where all the sequences involve everyone crying and giving tearful goodbyes.
Whoa!
Okay, that last part was a joke, but seriously, Stranger Things is now officially done filming. The series has wrapped. It wrapped last month, and Film Wolfhard had to come out at Sundance and talk a little bit about his experience. So he says that he's extremely happy with the Stranger Things ending, and he said it couldn't have been better. After the Lord of the Rings style year long shoot, last day on set was incredibly emotional. Well, it should be emotional. You spent the last 10 years of your life doing it. I also intermittently, but yeah, let's just go in and hear from him before we just go off on a whole bunch of tangents. So he joined the Variety Studio presented by Audible at Sundance and said that being in Park City to promote his new movie, The Legend of Ochi, feels like a post graduation moment at his first press tour since wrapping filming on Stranger Things. He spent over a decade making the show, which served as his acting breakthrough. He was a kid when this came out. And the final episode that he wrapped filming altogether in December of last year, just a month ago. It's hard to believe we're at the end of January, but it was incredibly emotional. Obviously, he said about his last day on set, and it's the last 10 years of his life. Also for the creators, they started out they were 30, now they're 40. That's all to have. That's also that's something to take a pause at. The Duffer Brothers started Stranger Things, that whole phenomenon, whenever they were 30 years old. In Hollywood, that is very young to be helming something that is that much in the zeitgeist. Everyone had a long journey and it shared it together. My whole childhood was there. It was sort of the Toy Story 3 moment of leaving your toys behind. It was really special. Now, one thing I will say about Finn Wolfhard, whether you like him or don't, he seems really nerdy. He seems really geeky. I think he actually subscribes to Nerdrotic, or no, it's Critical Drinker. I think he's talked about that before. But like he's almost in our sphere of the internet, especially when it comes to pop culture stuff. He's a huge geek. He's a huge nerd. He likes the good movies, and I respect him for that. I also kind of like him as an actor. I think he tries in everything he does, and he's not crap. So he says we had a long last year. We shot several of them style with a year long shoot, pulling in some more of those little nerd style references. It was a great way to go out and very intense. I feel like it couldn't have ended better. And then he goes on to talk about his new movie. It's the first movie I'm promoting since, so it feels like post graduation. It feels like, yeah, you had the night after it. You survived the night after graduation, where a lot of people don't, and you're on to bigger and better things. Not just going off to college. You were taking AP classes while you were doing this in high school. So there you go, man. And he's been in a lot of stuff. He's been in a lot of stuff that made a lot of money too. So I'm sure he's sitting pretty flush and still doing things that foster artistry. Then he just goes off in a little bit about the Legend of Ochi, which did premiere there at Sundance and apparently is getting really, really good reviews. So we have to go on and talk about this a little bit more. Says the movie marks a directorial debut of Isaiah Saxon and utilizes puppetry, animatronics, matte paintings, and 3D animation and tell the story of a shy farm girl. Now, I'm not going to go off into this whole synopsis, but the fact that they're going back to practical effects, yes, a little bit of 3D animation, but he goes on to talk about how awesome it is to not, you can interact with a tennis ball. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. But what makes you really get into the feeling of the character is when you're acting with actual puppets and animatronics. You know, Ian McKellen felt the same way whenever they brought him back to film The Hobbit because they were doing a lot on green screens. It wasn't like the original Lord of the Rings trilogy where they were on set with like real set pieces, real actors there. They were there in the moment together so they could play off each other. It makes a hell of a difference because look how The Hobbit, even though that's one of the most beloved stories of all time, the most beloved books of all time, look how that was translated to the screen by the actors to the audience. And look how Lord of the Rings was. It's night and day. Now, unfortunately, even though a lot of the big wigs got to see The Legend of Ochi recently at Sundance, the director lost his home in the LA wildfires, so it's been put back, but only for a month. So you won't have to wait that much longer. But if you have any interest in this, I just think I don't know. I haven't seen anything bad from Wolfhard, really. Nothing about his character. He seems like a cool guy. He seems like he'd want to hang out with us. We'd want to hang out with him. And he at least respects the art. He respects the art, the inclusivity of just like puppets and animatronics and practical effects, of real good storytelling, of real good filmmaking. He wants to be there on set. He wants to be there. And I don't know. Gen Z, at least he's one shining example of why I think Gen Z is a generation that's finally going back to form. But what do you guys think about this? Leave it down in the comment section below. This is Multi from the GCA. We hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you later, late and gay, with the GCA on Wednesday evenings at 8:30 Eastern. Y'all take care. Bye.